Hello, welcome back to my video, and we are starting at a different angle here. I have this big bag full of shoes that I sourced this week that I'm getting ready to clean, and I just want to show you before I do the haul how I do that. So the very first thing I do is get everything that I'm going to need, which involves Clorox wipes, leather wipes, and for more industrial, mink oil for the leather. And so I just lay out a bag right here that I don't care about, that I could whip in the garbage after if it gets ruined. And I take the time after I get each shoe, sanitize the insoles, and just make sure, clean up the scuffs if there's any, anything terrible in here. I do use gloves as well. I have rubber gloves that I put on. So yes, that is what we are going to do. So stay tuned. All right, and all the shoes are clean, so I'm just going to show you what I sourced this week, which was mainly just shoes, and they're pretty much, for the most part, the same brand. These are Alegrias. I stopped picking these up. I haven't picked them up in probably about 6 months, but then I started selling them again, so they are like new on the bottom, and these are basically for people that are on their feet for a long time. I think like any medical, restaurant, so forth, and you can replace the insoles, and I think a couple of these, I think they all belong to the same person because I believe they were all the same size. Yeah, size 39, and these are the only ones I think that I see some wear on the insoles, but the outside looks amazing, which is pretty amazing. So I don't know if they were resold or not, but yeah, those are the first pair. And you want to be sure that when you do list these, you don't mention the word Velcro, because that word is copyrighted. And if you use Velcro, from my experience the past 20 years reselling, Posh and eBay will take down your listing. So no using Velcro. But yeah, it makes it really simple. They're really pretty shoes. So that is the first pair. The other pair these pair now look like they look brand new on the outside and the inside insoles, but I mean a tiny, tiny little bit of wear there. But again, size 39, genuine leather. I believe these retail, I'll put it right here, I think it's like $150 they retail for, unless they've come down in price since I sold them. So I try to get $40 to $50 of what they retail for. So these ones as well, these ones are really pretty, like a raised brocade floral design. The insoles look flawless. Bottoms look good as well. Just amazing. So whoever this was, maybe they quit their job or they just found something they liked better. But yeah, they're all the same size. These were all slip-ons except for two slip-ons and two not. So 4. And these ones, maybe these were their favorite because they're solid black and they probably went with everything. So a little bit more wear. But again, if you don't have $150 to go, spend new, and you've got a new job, it's better to just go to the secondhand market. Even if they sold for $50 and someone paid $10 to ship them, $60 is definitely still better than $150. All right, the next with these little horse bit, these are Land's End, and they are, again, flawless. I haven't checked how much they retail for, but I'll put it right here. I'll go ahead and Google it. Driving loafers, genuine suede, Land's End. I mean, look at that. It always makes me wonder why people just donate them. Maybe they just get bored of the style. But when they're in this impeccable of condition, part of me always wonders, why did they donate them? I don't know. And these ones are size 10B US. So these are size 10. And you know what? I also brought a pair of Torrid combat boots with a 4-inch heel that were also size 10, but these are 10 wide. Again, flawless. And while Torrid is considered a fast fashion brand, their boots retail for $89. So, and they're not real leather. They're just polyester and man-made leather. 10 wide. So there's those. And then the only man's shoe that I bought were these G-Defy. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Again, they're like new, and I will put how much they retail for here. They all passed the shoe test. These ones say shock resistant. I think when I pulled comps, it was about $70 to $80, so that is why I picked it up. And these are a size 11, but they're not wide. But they're really, really cool. They remind me, they have like a little heel even there. They kind of remind me of, if you remember those Skechers walkers that they rocked. I think they were called Skechers rockers or something. That's what they remind me of, like the male version of them. Beautiful shoes nonetheless. and I pay $5.99 for each of my shoes. So that is what I paid here. Just round it off, $6 for each pair. And every pair here I'm planning on listing, I think, for $50. So that will allow me to take offers of like $40 to $45. So that is a really good profit margin if you are into selling shoes. All right, so I just have three little, three clothing items. I do sell bras and underwear. Underwear only if they are new with tags. Bras, they could be new with tags or not. But I thought these were really, really cute. They have a corset back. And again, Torrid, new with tags. They retailed for $30. Wow, $30 for a pair of undies. Wow. But so they are size 1, and I think size 1 is their 14-16. And so they're just like a cheeky. They're not a thong or anything. So again, they retail for $30. High waist Torrid. And I will probably list them for $25, and I won't take less than $20. So that gives me a profit. I pay $1 for underwear. Bras, I pay $2.49, and this is a new with tags. I try to sell predominantly plus size bras because they sell the best for me. And this is a size 36J, new with tags, beautiful little underwire bra. And I like the contrast straps are quite nice. So it's like a baby pink and gray. And lastly is just one top, one tunic. And this is Talbots XL, just a striped 100% cotton, 3/4 sleeve. There's the Goodwill tag right there. And yeah, this I will probably list for $35. Normally I get $30 for these. And I watched another video that said that tunics had this little slit right here. So I don't know, but if you remember last week's video, if you watched it, I explained what the difference between a t-shirt and just a regular shirt was, that the thrift store told me. And likewise, whether it's a shirt or a tunic, supposedly a tunic is something that you don't tuck in, and it's usually a little bit longer. It comes down to the hip level, and it just has that little detail right there. And so yeah, those are my 10 items, 7 pairs of shoes and 3 garments. That is all I have for you this week. Hopefully this coming week, thrifting will be better. What can I say? And I usually go thrifting 3 times a week. I skip a day. So if I go Monday, I wait till Wednesday and then Friday. And I generally don't source on the weekends. So that is it for you today. I'm going to go ahead now that all these shoes and everything is nice and clean. I'm going to take photographs and get them listed. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope everybody has a good one. Bye-bye.